So you've been using NotebookLM, and you know it's an amazing tool, right? But as you start piling in more and more info, that beautiful clear space can turn into a total mess, like real fast. Well, we're going to fix that. Today, I'm going to walk you through how to turn that chaos back into clarity and build a system you can actually count on. You ready? Let's get into it.
Okay, honest question for you. Does your NotebookLM feel, I don't know, like a digital junk drawer? You know the one, where you just toss everything in, crossing your fingers you'll find it later, but deep down you know it's a lost cause. Yeah, if you're nodding your head right now, trust me, you are not alone, and that's exactly what we're here to tackle. All these little frustrations, they're basically symptoms of what I like to call the scaling problem. It's that moment you go from having just a couple of notebooks to a whole lot more. All of a sudden, you can't find that one note from that client meeting. Or worse, you ask the AI a simple question and you get this bizarre, confusing answer. That's because it's trying to make sense of a dozen different topics at once. We call that context pollution. You even start to forget what you've saved. And that right there is why having a system is absolutely crucial.
So the fix isn't just, a quick cleanup. It's about building a smarter foundation from the get-go. And that brings us to the absolute core principle of this whole thing: strategic notebook architecture. Sounds fancy, I know, but all it really means is thinking ahead and being intentional about how you set up your notebooks.
All right, listen up because this is the most important part. If you take away just one thing from this whole explainer, let it be this. Each notebook should have one clear purpose. Seriously, that's it. This one simple rule is the secret sauce. It's what's going to get you those sharp, accurate answers from the AI, and frankly, it's what's going to keep you from going crazy as you add more and more stuff. Okay, so what does one clear purpose actually look like? Well, you've got options. You could organize by project, say Client A, website redesign, or maybe you group things by your role, like a notebook just for HR employee handbook analysis. You could even do it by time, like 2025 Q2 performance review. And for all you researchers out there, you can organize by your specific domain, like literature review, AI ethics. See the pattern? The goal is always to create these clean, separate zones for your information. Just look at this difference. It's night and day, right? On the left, we've got the classic work stuff notebook. It's a total mess. You've got earnings reports, vendor contracts, the employee handbook, all thrown together. But on the right, wow, everything is neatly sorted into its own dedicated notebook. And believe me, this isn't just about making things look pretty. This has a huge impact on how well the AI actually works for you. And here's the why behind it all. Let's say you asked that messy work stuff notebook, what were our main cost reduction strategies? The AI is just going to get confused. It's going to look at the employee handbook, the vendor contracts, and give you a garbled, useless answer. But ask that exact same question to the focused finance notebook, boom, you get a perfect, precise answer pulled only from the earnings report. That, my friends, is the precision benefit. It's a game changer. Okay, so you've got the one purpose per notebook rule down. Awesome. The next layer to this system is all about managing that growing collection. It really boils down to three simple habits: smart naming, good indexing, and knowing how to archive. Let's dig into each one. Trust me on this one. Your future self is going to thank you for doing this. You need a consistent naming convention. Here's a super simple formula that just works: category, topic, and then context. So it looks something like Client Acme Corp Marketing Strategy Q4 2025. Instantly, you know exactly what's inside, and it makes searching for it a breeze. And on the flip side, please, I'm begging you, avoid names like this: Notebook 1, Work Stuff, Random Info. We've all done it. It seems fine at the moment, but a month later, it's completely useless. Vague names pretty much break your ability to search for anything. So yeah, be descriptive. It takes 2 extra seconds and saves you hours of frustration. All right. Here's a pro tip for when you start getting serious about this. Once you hit, say, 20 or more notebooks, it's time to level up and create a master index. Think of it like a table of contents for your entire NotebookLM world. It's just one special notebook that keeps track of all the others. What does this master index do? Well, it basically cures that horrible feeling of, I know I have this note somewhere. Inside, you just keep a simple list: all your active notebooks, a little sentence about what's in each one, maybe when you last updated it, and who you've shared it with. It becomes your command center, your single source of truth. Okay, what do you do with old projects? It's so tempting to just hit delete to tidy things up, right? Don't do it. A much better way is to archive. All you do is rename the notebook with a prefix like archive underscore. That's it. Your workspace stays clean, but you keep all that valuable history just in case you need it down the road. You never know. All right, we've got our notebooks organized, our system is looking clean. Now let's zoom in and go a level deeper. We're going to talk about managing the actual sources inside those notebooks. There are some really cool features for source filtering and syncing that you need to know about. First up is one of my favorite features, source filtering. You've probably seen those little checkboxes next to each of your source documents. Well, they're super powerful. When you uncheck one, you're telling the AI, hey, ignore this one for a minute. It lets you zero in and ask questions about a very specific piece of your information. So, where would you actually use this? Okay, imagine you've uploaded a whole textbook. You can uncheck everything but Chapter 3 to study just that chapter. Or maybe you've got one notebook for a client, but it has 5 different project reports in it. You can filter down to analyze just one of them. It's the ultimate way to avoid that context pollution we talked about and get surgically precise answers. Another killer feature is the Google Drive sync. The way it works is really simple. You add a Google Doc to your notebook one time. Now, NotebookLM has its own copy, but later on when you go and make changes to that original doc in Google Drive, this little sync button magically appears in NotebookLM. You click it and bam, your source is instantly updated. It is perfect for any document that's constantly changing, like a project plan or meeting notes. You know how tedious it can be to build a new notebook, right? Hunting down links and files one by one. Well, that's where the Discover Sources feature is a lifesaver. Instead of doing all that manual work, you can just type in a normal sentence, like find me articles about sustainable business practices. It'll then search the web and your Google Drive and let you add a whole bunch of sources all at once. It's a huge time saver. Okay, so everything we've talked about is great for your own personal use, but these ideas become even more important when you bring a team into the mix. So let's talk about how to scale this whole system for collaboration and look at a few real-world scenarios. When you're working with a team, consistency is the name of the game. You absolutely have to agree on a naming system so everybody knows where to find everything. You got to be smart about permissions, who's just a viewer and who's an editor. And just like your personal master index, it's a great idea to have a simple document inside the notebook that just lists out what all the sources are. It keeps everyone on the same page. So what does this look like out in the wild? Well, you might have a consultant with 15 different notebooks, one for each client. Or a researcher with 40 notebooks, each for a different research topic, all neatly organized with a master index. Or a project team using one shared notebook for their department that gets synced every week with their status report from Google Docs. See? These are systems that actually work and scale. Whew! Okay, we've covered a ton of ground here, from the big picture strategy all the way down to specific little features. You literally have the blueprint now to take that messy digital junk drawer and turn it into a powerhouse of a knowledge library. So the real question is, are you ready to build your system? Here's your action plan. It's super simple, just 3 steps. 1. Plan your structure. Just take a minute and decide how you want to organize things, by project, by role, whatever works for you. 2. Pick your naming convention and stick to it. And 3. Go ahead and create that master index notebook right now to start tracking everything. That's it. So I'm going to leave you with a question to chew on. With all these strategies in your toolkit, what is your knowledge library going to look like? How is a truly organized system going to change the way you work or do research? Go on, start building it today. Thanks so much for watching, and make sure you stick around for our next explainer, where we are going to get into some really advanced prompting techniques. See you then.